To the campaign trail, the National Review taking a stand against Donald Trump, calling the GOP frontrunner a, quote, philosophically unmoored political opportunist. Magazine editor Rich Lowry talked to Megyn Kelly last night on the magazine's decision.
If you truly are conservative, you believe in ideas and principles. It's not just attitudes. It's not just who you dislike. It's limited government. It's the Constitution. It's liberty. Those are the things that truly make this country special. And they are basically afterthoughts to Donald Trump.
And, of course, Trump responded on Twitter with what you'd expect, calling the National Review a failing publication that's lost its way. Let's bring in Fox News digital politics editor Chris Stirewalt. And on the ground in Iowa is Alexis Levinson, senior political reporter at the National Review. Alexis, great to see you. She's joining us via Skype. Alexis, why now for the National Review on this?
So I'm not going to pretend to get into the editors' heads because I was obviously not involved in writing this, but we're 10 days out from Iowa, and Trump is leading. And there was the CNN poll that came out last night that has him leading by 10 points. And it's starting to really, you're starting to see this kind of convulsion within the Republican Party that we've been saying for, 7 months, oh, it's going to end, it's going to end. He attacks McCain, okay, that's it. He attacks Megyn Kelly, okay, that's it. And it never is it. Donald Trump just keeps going. He is Teflon, and nothing seems to hurt him. And so you're starting to hear a lot of Republicans trying to come to terms with the fact that this could really be the nominee. And, the people who wrote for National Review and wrote this big symposium are very uncomfortable with that idea.
Chris, if you go through it, it's about 20 conservative writers and thought leaders, if you will. Katie Pavlich is in here, Cal Thomas, Thomas Sowell, just to name a few of them. But it begs a question. It's like it doesn't. I read it, and it's Katie Pavlich is talking about the rabid defense that Trump gets from some quarters is astonishing. His liberal positions aren't in the distant past. He's openly promoted them on the campaign trail. And I say this doesn't matter to his campaign at all. What do you say?
Well, so this isn't about whether or not Donald Trump and his supporters are conservative. He's not running as a conservative. He doesn't hold himself out as, I think he says he is sometimes, but he's not holding himself out as a conservative purist. The Republican Party has become an astonishingly conservative entity since really the Reagan era, when the conservatives started to take over the Republican Party. If you look at who are the front runners beyond Donald Trump, you see Ted Cruz and Marco Rubio. Either of them would be easily the most conservative nominee the Republican Party ever had if they picked either one of them. But Donald Trump's not running for those votes. The issue the Republicans have right now is that they've got 2/3 of their party that doesn't want Donald Trump to be their nominee. Unless they can organize and get behind somebody else, he can use a minority share of the party's vote to engage in a leverage buyout of the GOP, and it'll be too bad for everybody who's complaining about it because they couldn't decide.
Alexis, I want to get your response to that.
I mean, I agree. This has been... I think it's really telling that we're 10 days out, and it took until, 2 weeks ago for anyone to even start hitting Donald Trump directly? Jeb Bush kind of would do it in fits and starts.
That's not actually accurate. I think Lindsey Graham, who's dropped out, and Governor Jeb Bush have been attacking him for the past 6 months. There's been a lot of people in the establishment who have done so. You can argue whether it's been effective or not. But National Review, I'm sorry, you guys are about 6 months late to the game.
Okay, well, again, this is the editors. I'm not going to, sit here and say that this is why they decided to do it now, because I don't know that. But there hasn't been an effective attack on Donald Trump at all this entire campaign. People have sort of slapped at him and gotten slapped down even harder.
Well, we'll see.
And Chris, I want to get you in because you've been writing about this, that you have essentially Trump and Cruz and then all the other Republican candidates hitting each other with oars. I think you said like fighting in the boat for the last thimbleful of water.
The pre-cannibal phase. Look, let's clarify what has been done and not done to Donald Trump. You know how much super PAC money has been spent against Donald Trump as of a week ago?
None.
$0. $0. Because if I have ever seen a party that's good at losing, it is the Republican Party. These people are terrible, terrible at this, and they have screwed up their nominating process. They have done everything wrong that they could possibly imagine. And these dopes sat around for 7 months. Well, when the guy with 30% of the vote, see, when he'll just dry up and blow away, and then my magic plan to become the nominee will take place. If you do not spend the money, if you do not devote the resources, if you do not act seriously, you will not get serious results. These guys have screwed it up. The question is, the window will open for an alternative to both. There is a third slot here. Marco Rubio is the clear front runner for the slot. There is a third slot. The window will open for that person. The question now is, will they have the resources, will they have the ability, and will they have the momentum to run through it? And as long as Jeb Bush and Chris Christie are clubbing Marco Rubio with boat oars, it's going to be real hard for him to take advantage of that moment.
Chris, thank you for that. Chris Stirewalt, great to see you. And Alexis, thank you for joining us from Iowa on Skype. Terrific to see both of you, Alexis and Chris. Take care.